Yes, people, a very, very happy morning to all of you. So, guys, finally, we're going to begin with the revision series. But before I start the revision class today, there are a few important points that I want to bring it to your knowledge. This is not the very first time I'm doing. We've been discussing about this since the inception of the class. But again, I thought today I will reiterate the points. So, points to remember to secure 90 plus or 95 plus or 100 in accounts in your board exams. You can follow this tips for even other subjects. Even that will help you to score 90 plus or 95 plus or 100 plus in those subjects. The first and the foremost point that all of you have to take care is to have a concept notebook, which I've been talking about since the beginning of the class. In the concept notebook, you have to have a list of all the concepts and the sub-concepts for each chapter. So what do you mean by concept? What do you mean by the sub-concept? Please show us a demo. Here it is. In the fundamentals of partnership topic, I've made a note of all the sub-concepts and concepts. The first concept where the practical application happens, the first concept is in the absence of partnership deed, what are the points to remember? So this is one concept. You have to make a note of this heading alone. So this will act as a checklist during the exam. So you can put a tick mark whether this concept I've gone through or not gone through. A lot of time people complain that, sir, in that 4-day holiday or 5-day holiday of preparation, I by mistakenly skip this concept. At the end, when they realize that they have missed a concept, they enter into a panic mode and things will totally collapse down. So this will serve as a checklist for you to note down the concepts and sub-concepts. Second point is the concept of interest on loan by partner. So under this, what are the journal entries applicable for different scenarios? What are the complication part in it? For example, interest on loan by partner. The loan is either given or taken in between the year, then interest needs to be proportionately calculated. If nothing is mentioned, interest has to be calculated from the beginning till end. So there could be multiple situations. So whatever you feel appropriate, under this you can write the notes. Or in, let's suppose, in a particular question you have made a mistake, so that mistake you can highlight it here if you want it. So interest on loan by partner, what is the concept? What is the entry? Interest on loan to partner, this is another concept. For this also we have a set of journal entry, which is little bit different from the previous one. Then rent payable to partner, for this what is the journal entry? Probable journal entry. Then P&L appropriation account, how to prepare, what are all the items that will come in the P&L appropriation account, complete transactions. So under that there are 4 sub concepts. If you remember, we'll be discussing that today. When the net profit is more than the item of appropriation, what is item of appropriation? Salary, remuneration, commission, interest on capital is called as item of appropriation. So when the net profit that is available is more than the item of appropriation, in such case, how do you prepare the P&L appropriation account? When the profit, that is net profit, which is coming from the P&L account, is equal to your item of appropriation, in that case, how the P&L appropriation is prepared? If the profit, net profit that is available is less than the item of appropriation, then you know that the net profit needs to be distributed in the ratio of appropriation. So this is another sub concept. What will happen if there is a loss? If there is a loss, what needs to be done? If loss is there, interest on capital, salary, remuneration, commission, nothing will come, but interest on drawing will come. So like that, you're noting down all the concepts and sub concepts, and under that, whatever point you feel is appropriate for us to remember, you can make a note of it. So this will serve as a checklist for you, and you'll have a complete control of each and every chapter. Very, very important. People say that you need to work very hard. People say that you need to work smart, but how to work hard, how to work smart, nobody tells. Working hard, sitting and studying at a stretch for 10 to 12 hours, working hard. But working smart is what? Make a note of these points. At the end, in those 4 days of holiday, you'll be able to smoothly do the revision. So a person who does not make a note of this checklist, at the end, he will not understand what to study, what not to study. He'll end up studying everything. Too much of pressure. Where he's supposed to study for 12 hours, he'll end up studying for 15 hours because he don't know what to study and what to leave. So smartness is where you have a complete control. In that 4 days, what you're going to prepare, what you're going to study, and what you're not going to study. Till that minute level, you need to plan. So this will come handy for you. Then methods of maintaining capital. There are multiple methods: fluctuating method, fixed capital method. You have the format ready. In the fixed capital method, how many accounts? In each account, what are the possible transactions that can come into? In fluctuating method, what are the probable transactions that can come to? Should have a format ready. Should have a format ready. Sir, what format are you talking about? Like this. I've shared the notes with all of you. This is the full format of the fluctuating capital method. Every possible transaction we've been incorporated here. So if you glance this, you'll be very comfortable. Online people, are you all with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Second point. One second, people. Okay. Now comes the second point. Highlight the important points in the book itself. There are certain important points that is mentioned in every chapter. So take a highlighter and highlight those important points. Now here, when you start highlighting, don't start showing your artistry. Artist which is hid inside you. You will take 4 colors. One yellow, one pink, one green. Arey Baba, for the purpose of highlighting is what? When you turn around the pages, if you find anything highlighted, your concentration should go on there. If you highlight all the points in that page, what is the point in highlighting itself? What attention will it draw? There's no attention that is it drawing. Then you will just flip the page and go forward. Please don't do that mistake. If you feel that no, sir, highlighting in the book is not serving the purpose, for me it is better if I note it down in the notebook separately. Note it down. Whatever feels you comfortable. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. Note down under the concept and subconcept notebook. Below that, you note down all the important points against each one. Or you can give a cross reference. Okay, this particular concept in that particular book on this page number, there is an important concept. You can give a cross referencing. However you feel comfortable, you follow. So second point is important point you need to highlight or note it down so that one day before exam, it will be easy for you to go through. Noting it down is much better than highlighting, because when you highlight, no, you highlight in multiple books. So one day before the exam, if you want to go through, turning the pages and looking for those highlighted information is a little difficult. So on the contrary, if you could make a note, if you could make a note in a separate notebook, it will be best. So even before entering the hall, morning, if you want to glance, just tuck, immediately you can go through. Very, very important. This will come handy to you. Third, guys, at various places in multiple chapters, we have made important assumptions in the fundamentals topic. One example, if I have to give you, if the question is silent with regard to what is the method of maintaining the capital account, so what do we assume? Fluctuating capital method. So like that, at multiple places, we make humongous assumptions, many assumptions. 1, 2, 3 assumption means we can remember. When there are n number of assumptions, how will you keep it in your memory? So it is very important to note down all the assumptions that you make in the respective chapters. I've been talking about this since the beginning of the class. If so far you have not done it, at least from now you do it. Because now you're sitting and properly studying everything from the beginning. You have good amount of holidays in between. So you can plan now and make things under your control. Fourth one, segregate the questions into easy questions, medium questions, and challenging questions. My simple question to all of you. You have 4 days holiday in between to prepare for your accounts board exam. During those 4 days, are you trying to tell me that, sir, I will go through all the questions of the book that you're following? Let's say you're following TS Dewal book or DK Goyal book. Are you in position to watch or go through all the questions in those 4 days? All the sample paper questions, all the past examination questions? Impossible. So you need to be smart enough and decide now that in those 4 days, what questions you're going to see and what questions you're not going to see. Now, when you do the revision with me, after that you will go home and do the revision. You will have a better picture as to which question is easy for you, or medium level for you, or challenging level for you. Please segregate those questions. For me, easy questions are those questions at this juncture. Easy questions are those questions if I'm able to do now, that is after revision, go home and study. That time, if you're able to do the question without any help, without any mistakes, those are easy questions. Which means if this question directly in the examination, if you get it, you'll be in position to do it. Or maybe in between one time, if you glance at, you'll be able to manage it. If that is the level, then I would classify that as easy question, because I don't have time to go through easy questions multiple times. So now one time, in between one time, that 2 times will help you to recall the very same questions very smoothly in the examination. Then medium questions are those questions which you are doing with me now. After going home, you revise once, in between once, and during exam once. So 3 times. One now during revision, one in between, let's say in the month of Jan end or Feb mid, and once in during exam. You have to go through. So 2 times you have to minimum do. Third is challenging question. You have to go through now once, in between twice, because if you don't go through twice, you might forget it. It is that challenging question. And one day before exam. Like that, you need to categorize the questions. It's very, very important. Sometimes it so happens that in these 3 type of questions, there'll be one full-fledged comprehensive question. 90% of the question you're able to do it. It is easy. But in that, there's one particular transaction. In that, there's one particular transaction or one particular event of that question, which is very complicated. And always you forget, or always you make mistake in that. Take a highlighter, highlight that point alone. So that question, when you go through before exam, don't go through the entire question. Just that transaction alone is more than sufficient. For example, in partnership topic, you get a full-fledged question on admission, where they have all the kinds of transactions, calculation of ratio, calculation of your revaluation profit and loss, then transfer of reserves, adjustment of capital, all the adjustments, everything is there in that particular question. But in that, there's one particular concept, calculation of the provision for doubtful debt. There you are having a problem. So highlight that point in that. Or in that particular question, if there is anything which is very tricky, out of the box, highlight it. That alone you'll go through during exam. Rest all the questions you'll be able to manage. So the next point is what? In the comprehensive problem, highlight the transactions that are important and complicated alone. I made the same statement in the 11th standard for all of you. When you did BRS, in BRS, all the questions, 70% transactions were similar, but 30% transactions in each question were unique. So I told you that highlight those 30% questions alone and revise it before the exam. So same way here, wherever you come across a unique transaction in a full-fledged question, highlight that and keep it. 5 points I've discussed so far. Make sense or doesn't make sense? No energy. Doesn't make sense? I'll stop and I'll go to the revision. What do you say? Make sense? Online
Yes,
people, no response.
makes sense.
So
6 point. If possible, note down the important mistakes that you made while working out the sums or while taking up the test. You make mistakes while working out the questions, and you don't want such mistakes to recur. So I used to follow this in my CA final. So wherever I used to work out practical questions and whatever mistake I made, I used to make a writing note besides it and highlight it. So whenever I used to do the revision, I used to go through it. So once I read that note, it goes into my mind that what mistake I made. Trust me, you will never repeat that mistake ever again. If possible, please make a note of the mistakes where you're doing. Now you cannot tell, sir, in every question I do mistake. Out of 80, 30, 40 I'm getting. So remaining 40 marks, Govinda only. I'm telling you significant mistakes which you feel that you might forget, and this is very important for me to remember. Only in such scenario, you'll make a note of it. Okay, not okay. Point number 7, the revision techniques. So I'll give you the customized revision technique during as and when we do the revision classes. No, I'll give you the revision techniques. I'm telling you, this revision technique, if you follow, this will be a game changer for you. This will be a game changer for you. I'm giving a total weightage of 35%. There are 4 pillars to secure 90 plus, 95 plus, and 100. First is classes. Classes is very, very important because that will give you a clear conceptual clarity. Classes will contribute 35% to your success. The first pillar is class. What you're attending now. People take this very lightly, but this will contribute 35% to your success. Second pillar is a revision technique that I am suggesting all of you, that I'll suggest all of you. And sometimes this revision technique I'll customize as per your individual plans. This will contribute another 35%. So now look at this. The weightage that I've given to the classes, I've given an equal weightage to the revision. So if you walk into the examination hall with only taking care of the first two pillar, your probability of securing 90 plus or 95 plus or even 100 is only 70% chances, which means 30% chances are still there where you can get below the target level. So third pillar that you need to take care of is test and analysis of the test. You have to genuinely take the test. Test will be able to give a clear picture as to where you stand. You have a timing problem, no? You're not able to complete the paper on time. So the maximum number of papers you write, the maximum question you practice, the more you'll be able to understand how to time your questions. Very, very important. If you do not practice it, if you do not practice the papers, you will be having a tough time. Test. Once you get the paper corrected, analyzing your mistakes is very, very important, which none of you do it. You get the marks, you see the marks, throw the paper in the dustbin. The ultimate purpose of writing test is what? To understand where you stand. So the person who's correcting the paper should give you a pointers where you can understand, okay, this is the place where I've gone wrong. And you need to sit and understand why have you gone wrong and how on earth are you planning to bounce back from there. So if you don't plan to that level, it is a dream to get 90 plus or 95 plus or even 100. So this will contribute another 20% probability of succeeding or getting achieved your target. So if you take care of first three pillars, 35 plus 35 plus 20, the probability of getting 90 plus or 95 plus or even 100 is how much now? Still 90% only. Here comes the fourth pillar, guidance. Please feel free to seek guidance wherever required. Last 3 batches, I've been doing one-to-one counseling to whoever student is feeling totally out of control. Even now, I've been doing counseling for 3-4 people. Their life or journey of study is totally toppled down. It's upside down. So I literally understood their timings of how they go to school, when they come back, how much time is left over for them to prepare, how much to focus on accounts, how much to focus on other papers, what are the challenges they're facing, and I give a customized plan. Why? Because sometimes when you don't seek guidance, you're not able to understand, okay, for a given scenario or a problem, how should I manage it? You try to, experiment by yourself and everything will go out of control at one point of time. Do it by yourself, nothing wrong. But if you feel that, okay, beyond this, I'm not getting a clarity, then please feel free to reach out. This is very, 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 very important. Handholding in the entire journey of education by a teacher is very, very important. If you have any problem which is bothering you, related to studies, not related to studies, but bothering you and affecting your studies, please bring it to my knowledge. Based on my experience, I'll try to give the solution for your problems. I always tell my students, if you have a problem, I have a solution. There's nothing on this planet where you're struggling with and you're not able to come out with it. 100% you can come out. You need to be optimistic. You need to be solution oriented. Don't be problem oriented. Don't only keep bunging about the problems. Try to seek answers in different perspectives. You will get the solution. So these are the few basic points that I wanted to bring to all of your knowledge. But of course, as the time goes by, there'll be a lot of pointers which I'll be sharing during the classes, which will help you to give a clarity of how you should be planning accountancy subject as well as the other subjects. And more specifically, I'll be discussing about the revision techniques during the journey. So please do not miss out on the revision classes. Whatever screw up that you have done so far, in terms of not attending the classes, piling up the recording lectures, not being able to watch it, still fine. But from here, if you skip the revision classes, things will go out of control completely. So you have solid 2 months left from here. Few people 1.5 months, few people around 2 months left. And you have a big holiday in between that economics subject, I believe. English and economics, yeah. So you need to capitalize those days as well. So please, please, please plan everything meticulously, what you're going to study, what not you're going to study, what is the timing for each and every subject. Everything should be properly organized and allocated. If you don't plan, or if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And don't be result oriented. There's a statement by Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Do not focus on the end result. Focus on the process. If you take care of the process will itself take care of the end result. The end result is the byproduct of the process that you're following. So a lot of people, keep talking about the result. What if, I don't get pass mark? What if I don't get the, the required score of 80 plus or 95 plus? So don't do negative talking. If you want to get the target that you are intending to achieve, for that, what process I need to follow, get the process established and rigorously follow. From here, constantly 10 to 12 hours a day, you have to put in the effort. Minimum I'm talking about. If your target is to score 90 plus, 95 plus or 100. Right? So if any other question is bothering you, please feel absolutely free to get in touch with me. Okay? So now we'll be heading forward to the very first chapter of the revision series. So this particular video, I'll be ending it here. The revision video, I'll start afresh in the next recording. So all online people, please stay tuned. Offline people?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Chalo.